My name is William. I am 30 years old, and my wife, Emily, is 35. Everything was going as usual. We fell in love, lived together for 2 years, and got married. We've been married for 5 years now and have a 3-year-old son. All together. We've been together for 7 years. Over this time, we bought a summer house, a car, and we have savings, no mortgage, no owned property, just liquid assets. For 6 months, we lived with my parents on acting, speech techniques, and public speaking. It is registered as a sole proprietorship under my name, Brain Cancer. I won't go into all the details, but we did everything possible and impossible to save her. But by April, we lost her. Maybe that's why I didn't notice the signs of infidelity. It probably started around the time my wife began saying that I was getting old, that life was passing by in vain, and other similar remarks. I thought it was a midlife crisis, and that she would get over it. Then she started saying she wasn't made for family life, that she wanted to go out and attend rock concerts. Her social media became password protected, and she logged out of them every time. Messages were deleted. It was a classic situation. We had a high school student in our acting courses, an 11th grader, a rocker, a musician with long hair. My wife asked to go out with the acting group to a bar to socialize. We usually do this to engage people and promote our other courses, maintaining rapport with clients. That's where it all began. Later, she asked, go to his concert, then to a documentary film screening. She lied about these things. I know that for sure. She just omitted the details of what she was actually doing. As it turned out later, this was when things started escalating between them. At the same time, our sex life suddenly became amazing. Before, it was rare, once a week or every 2 weeks. But from May 11th to May 15th, I was on a business trip from Krasnoyarsk to Moscow. When I came back, everything seemed fine. But the following days, I felt like she was distant. She was there with me physically, but seemed to be floating somewhere else. My suspicions kicked in immediately. I installed an app to intercept her texts and calls. At first, there was nothing suspicious. I calmed down, thinking I imagined it. Then I intercepted a phone call to her friend, where she admitted she was having an affair with a much younger guy. She said that when she pressed against me, she felt nothing. Shock. My first thought was, this can't be happening. It just can't. I confronted her that same night after the courses. I asked, is there something you want to tell me? She said no. I told her I knew everything about her and her affair. She swore nothing had happened, swearing on our child's health, that she had never even kissed him. I didn't reveal how I got my information, nor did I mention the conversation with her friend. The next day, I kept pressing her, but she remained silent. Then she said she wanted to go alone to a nearby town, Divnogorsk, to think things over. I checked her messages and saw that she was planning to go there with him. I confronted her directly, saying I knew she was going with him. More tears, more hysterics. She snatched my phone and saw her entire conversation with him, where she told him she was in love with him, that he felt both close and distant at the same time. All the typical butterflies in the stomach. Nonsense. At that moment, I lost it. I Told her I knew about her phone call to her friend. More tears, more sobbing, but still no confession. She left for the courses, and during that confession time, my father came to pick up our son. He found out everything. I asked for his advice, and he told me not to make rash decisions. That night, I called her and told her I was packing my things and leaving. I had made it clear before. If I had made it clear before, left, it would be once and for all. She came home from the courses crying, fell to her knees, begged for forgiveness. I told her to come inside, and that's when she confessed everything. Before that, she had sworn twice on our son's health that nothing had happened with this guy. And to be honest, even I didn't believe it was possible. She was 35, and he was 17. What could they possibly have in common? And he was still a virgin, no less. Everything after that was a blur. She said she needed closure to end things properly. And, based on the sounds, it all happened there. She later claimed it was just by her own hands, but by then, I didn't care. I confronted her with the recording. I was absolutely seething with rage. Before she left, she said she was only going to talk to him to end things. This was late May. After that, she never saw him again, though she admitted she had wanted to. Or maybe there was more I didn't know. Throughout June, they still called and messaged each other occasionally. Like an idiot, I kept playing detective, trying to catch her still in touch with him. At the beginning of July, he moved to St. Petersburg for university. She called him on his birthday to congratulate him. On July 9, he wrote to her on social media and texted her again on her birthday, July 12th. By that time, we had gone on a trip to the mountains to try and fix our relationship. Afterward, I went on another business trip for a week. She kept checking on whether he got into university, saying she missed him but with no direct violations. As of today, I have emotionally let go of our 7 years together. I've realized that things will never go back to the way they were. Now, I just feel a cold indifference toward her. If before I had strong emotions, then 2 months of emotional roller coasters followed, and now there's just emptiness. I don't feel angry at her. What's the point? We talk about practical matters and our child, but I have no desire to be at home. I go back only to see my son. She probably understands that things will never be the same. I can sense her coldness from a mile away. I don't even want to touch her anymore. I don't even know if I'll ever get aroused by her again. I was never an alpha male, just a regular guy who worked hard and took care of business. Lately, she has taken over managing our business while I've focused on my research. I've only had 2 serious relationships in my life. My first lasted 3 years, ended in betrayal, and I cut it off immediately. I was raised in a family where loyalty and family values were everything. Now, I see 2 options. Leave options. Or stay out of convenience, and for the child's sake, until the next Vasily comes along, at which point I'll leave for sure. If I leave, do I divorce first or move out first? What about our child? That's my biggest concern. I have many fears about being alone. If I move out, I could stay with my father. She hasn't worked a regular job in years, and might not be able to handle it alone. The second option is to let things take their course. But I have no trust left in her. When I found out, my chest tightened. I've lost 10 kilos. What should I do? I need real rational advice from experienced people. That's my story.